What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
All right. What's going on? What is it, Sunday night? Must be Radio Baloney Live. Sunday night, I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Looks like we got Izzy in the chat. We got Trudeau Survivor in the chat. What's going on, guys? Izzy got like number 2. Well, I'm going to say that tonight, now as everybody knows, we're streaming right now on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals. And when you get the first like, you get extra good karma. Also like the second, third, fourth, but the most extra good karma comes from the first like. Izzy got number 2. I'm going to say that the first like gets 5 quintuple good karma tonight. That means number 2 would be quadruple 4 good karmas. That's a lot of good karma right there. You can sleep well tonight. Sleep easy. Who got the first one? Trudeau Survivor got the original like. Imitation likes for everybody else. I don't know what that means. I guess that's quintuple for you, I guess. I hope I'm not getting ripped off here. Rosie got number 3. That is triple good karma for you. How you doing, Rosie? Good to see you. All right. Trudeau Survivor says Jay's lost. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want people to be mad at me, but I knew they were going to lose the entire time. And the reason is because Canada has been cursed by the universe. Because Canada has willingly become an affront to nature. An affront to nature itself. And so I know that Canada is cursed now because of Canada's idiotic and terrible decision-making in elections. Big problem. Look, Stanley Cup final lost twice. World Series lost. That's 3 years in a row. Okay, 3 years in a row. It's after that last election, I knew Canada would be cursed. The universe would not approve. The universe is disgusted with Canada. As I say, an affront to nature itself at this point. So I knew. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to make people mad. But I knew. Trudeau Survivor says choke. No, it was the curse. It was the Carney curse. But it's more than just Carney. Because it's going back to 2 Stanley Cup finals in a row as well. It's that last time we elected Trudeau. That's it. That's when the universe could take no more. And it said, no, now you are cursed, Canada. You affront to nature. Let's see. Steve Tollison says number 2 like on YouTube. Well, guess what? That's quadruple good karma for you. You can sleep easy tonight. In these troubled times, who wouldn't accept some free karma, some free good karma? Nobody else is going to give it to you. But you earn it this way. You earn it by liking the stream. I heard a bunch of people didn't like the stream and they all died. That's what I heard. Let's see. Trudeau survivor has some serious concerns here. The grocery stores ran out of my favorite chocolate bar. However, I bought on Amazon for the same price, and it's delivered same day for free with Prime. My God, that's a genius plan. I ordered some chocolate on Amazon once, and it was kind of weird. It's kind of weird, actually. It showed up kind of weird. It was all kind of like melted and then like unmelted. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I got to be honest with you. But I'm glad yours turned out okay. Izzy says, how you doing, Izzy? How you doing, Steve Tollison? Izzy says it's the WEF curse, the World Economic Forum curse. Well, I think that's all rolled in to the curse. I think it's rolled in with the elections and everything. Trudeau Survivor says, I have a good karma story. Maybe I'll tell it one day. We put the testimonial in the chat. Come on, put it in the chat. I'm constantly getting testimonials from you guys, from the listeners, from the great Radio Balonians about, testimonials about their stories, their experience with the good karma that they received from Radio Baloney, from liking the stream. It's beautiful things, all kinds of beautiful stories. Rosie says, our East Tennessee team used to be the feeder team for the Jays. Was there really only one Canadian on the Jays team? If there were, it wouldn't have been any more than one, I doubt. Rosie says, you guys are loons. It's all fixed. It's the curse. It's the curse. Trudeau Survivor says, PM Blackface cursed us with his bad juju. It's all rolled into the curse. It's the universe has cursed Canada. It's the universe for all of the terrible things we've done and for becoming, as I say, an affront to nature itself. All right. Let's go through the menu, people. Let's see what we're going to talk about tonight. So UK, another, mass knife attack. And, of course, the authorities are being pretty tight-lipped as to what this was all about. I wonder, a bunch of random people, innocent random people, get stabbed by strangers on a train. Boy, that's never happened in the UK before, has it? I wonder what it could be. Let's see. Obama campaigns with scandal-plagued Virginia Dem who fantasized about murdering opponents. This is just the left now. It's just the left. It's not a bug. It's a feature of the left now. Let's see. President Trump on 60 Minutes. We'll take a look at that. We're going to get a little bit of stuff on the SNAP benefits and the fallout. And yeah, it's just as ugly as you think it would be. I don't even want to get into that, to be honest. I might not even cover this. So some things are so horrible. Mark Nixon, Pierre Poilievre just called Mark Carney's record as prime minister a complete disaster. Well, I'm going to show you this interview he did with Rosemary Barton. And this is a good lesson in framing, in Canadian media bias, particularly on the CBC, particularly Rosemary Barton. It's actually a lesson in framing, negative framing. We're going to take a look at this. Pierre did very well in that, by the way. We've got a little bit here on Canadian media bias and their absolute refusal to be objective and have people that will be objective. We're going to talk about election. There's a lot of talk about elections, an election coming up in a couple of months in Canada, an early election. We shall have to see. There's a lot of talk about it, though. We've got some Mark Carney there. We've got some far left extremism now, this is what we call this from now on, okay? So you see that these are teachers for Halloween, wearing their problem solved, the blood coming down the side. This is obviously referencing the Charlie Kirk assassination. These are all teachers, the same school. And this is the left now. Right? This is the left. And what you call this is far left extremism. These are all far left extremists. They're all in favor of political assassinations to the point where they're willing to do something so gruesome, so morally reprehensible. This is the modern left now. So it's not a bug, it's a feature. We've got Elon Musk talking about Doges. Elon Musk details Doge's most shocking discoveries. We've also got in here a former CIA director, John Brennan, is unraveling, and we're going to talk about him and his role in the unbelievable political corruption. That's coming a bit later. We've got some AI. We've got some Elon talking about AI here, and he knows what he's talking about on that. A little bit of stuff on the Trump tariffs, tiny little bit there. What do we got here? India has now placed 30% tariffs on Canadian peas. Every time Mark Carney goes somewhere, they raise tariffs on us. He's not good at it. He's not, whatever he's doing, he's not good at it. Then we've got the last one, and this is, I think, pretty much all stuff that you guys sent in. So there we go. Let's get back to the chat. And I just want to say, first off, I've been busy all weekend, and I have not checked the messages for the website because I just forget, because I never do anything on that anymore. I just haven't touched it in ages. I will try to remember. I did look up briefly Telegram, and they want me to give me their phone number. I guess it's linked to your phone number or something. I don't know how comfortable I am with that. I got to be honest. I'll look into it some more, but I don't know. I mean, Rosie, you can send in suggestions on your husband's ex, right? So, I think we're okay for now. Let's see. I'm just uncomfortable with a lot of things. That's what it comes down to. Let's see. And also, I just sometimes just don't want to do stuff. So there's that. Let's see. What do we got going? What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Izzy says it's a mostly peaceful knife attack in the UK. Yeah, they got a lot of those. Rosie says, was about to ask if it was a stranger, family, friends knife attack. No, yeah, it's just two guys decide to attack a bunch of strangers on a train. They're, you know what? Are they going to have civil war in the UK? It's so insane there. Trudeau Survivor says, I'm kind of glad Jay's lost, just so the elbows up morons won't use it to boast about Canada. Well, I mean, I was rooting for the Jays, but knowing full well there's Rosie says there was one Canadian on the team. So I don't know in terms of, the war against the United States. I'm not sure it would prove much, but I knew they wouldn't, because I didn't want to say anything, but I know that Canada is cursed. Canada has cursed itself by becoming an affront to nature. Spambot, how you doing? Good to see you. Rosie says Signal. Oh, Signal, not Telegram. Oh, I think I looked up Telegram. Did I look up? Okay. You know what? I think I looked up the wrong one. God damn it. What's wrong with me? I think I looked up Telegram. I think that's what. Okay, let me write Signal. Did I look up Telegram? I don't know. Does Signal make you is it Signal based on your phone number? Spambot says, only use Signal. Well, you don't have to shout at me. Let's see. Rose says, cannot get on husband's too little access. Rosie says, hey, maybe I should do, you know what you could do? You could go on that, what's it called? Maybe Truth. Maybe I could get a Truth social. Maybe that would be a good one. Are you guys on Truth? Let's see. Make sure you draw a triangle around Signal. Okay, I'll draw a triangle this time. There we go. So now it's got a circle, a square, underlining, and a triangle. So that's got to work. I'll be honest with you guys. Yesterday, I watched boxing in the morning into the afternoon, and then I just watched baseball, and then I did some editing after that. So that's all I did. And today I've been busy all day. Signal is phone number, but hidden from others, Rosie says. Huh. Rosie says, Truth Social I am on. Maybe I'll just get a Truth Social. Is there lots of good stuff on Truth Social, Rosie? Spambot says, I am on Signal, X, and email with PGP. Nothing else. Nothing else. Email with PGP. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do Truth. Maybe I'll do Truth Social. I was going to sign up for it when it first came out, and then it was a big line that you couldn't get on for some reason, and they were like, what, are you inviting people or something? And then I just kind of went, nah, whatever. All right. So what are we doing? Should I just do an ad read for the hell of it? Should I do an ad read for the hell of it? Why not? I mean, is that crazy? I don't think it's crazy. Crypto.com. Let's be clear. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here in this latest move. And this latest move cements that reality in the biggest way yet. Trump Media Group just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Crypto.com, the world's top crypto platform. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cashback on your spends, to launch America's first CRO treasury. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest CRO holder out there. You want in on the action? Head to Crypto.com today and grab some CRO. Let's make crypto great again. Beautiful ad. I tried something a little different that time. I tried a little bit of to speed run it a little bit, just to give it a little extra boost, a little extra punch. Get everybody to remember that beautiful Crypto.com, that big, beautiful Crypto.com ad. My favorite ad. One of my favorite ads anyway. It's in the top 3. All right. I guess we're just going to go and do some news. So, the UK, I mean, something has got to happen there. Something has got to happen. UK police said the knife attack that put 11 people in hospital was not being treated as a terrorist incident, and 2 British men had been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. So you've got 2 guys just stabbing random people on a train, but they're not, it hasn't occurred to them that it might be terrorism, I guess. Let's see.
There is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident.
Well, except that it looks exactly like a terrorist incident. It's exactly what terrorists do, but okay. Continue.
Police in Britain said on Sunday that a mass stabbing attack on a train was not being treated as terrorism after 2 British men were arrested. Eyewitness video verified by Reuters showed people fleeing Huntingdon Station on Saturday night. That's where the train made an emergency stop on its way to London, around 80 miles north of the capital. Superintendent John Lovelace said armed officers arrested the pair on the train.
The first male, a 32-year-old male, a black British national, and a 35-year-old man, a British national of Caribbean descent. They were both arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Both were born in the United Kingdom.
Lovelace said police were still trying to establish a motivation for the attack.
I'm going to go ahead and guess terrorism. Are they going to say mental illness? So both of them both had a psychotic attack at the same time?
It had put 11 people in hospital, with some fighting for their lives. Police said at least 4 people were discharged on Sunday after treatment. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called it an appalling incident that was deeply concerning. Knife crime in England and Wales has risen 87% over the past decade. There were nearly 54,600 offences last year, a 2% rise from 2023 and among the highest rates in Europe, official figures from Britain show. In a statement, Interior Minister Shabana Mahmood said she was deeply saddened while urging people to avoid speculation about the incident. The government is keen to stop rumours spreading on social media following a 2024 stabbing attack in Southport when internet claims over the murder of 3 girls sparked days of rioting across the country.
It is just... They have a problem, and the labor refuses, and in fact, in conservative governments as well, have refused to recognize obviously what the problem is. The people now are recognizing what the problem is, and they're stating it. They're stating what the problem is. They know exactly what it is. Let's see here from Keith Holcomb. 2 arrested after mass stabbing aboard British train, wounds 10, but police say it's not terrorism. Of course, it's terrorism. The UK Poles have lost the bloody plot. What else is it going to be? They weren't trying to rob people. They were just randomly stabbing people. Huntingdon, from Basil the Great, Huntingdon knife attacker was known to police and reported the day before. He was allegedly in a barber shop in Woodstown, Peterborough, the day before and the morning of the attack. In one of these instances, this CCTV image was taken. Staff contacted police, but no action was taken. If this is true, and news sources are now claiming it was then the police, if this is true and news sources are now claiming it was, then the police have a lot to answer for. We need to find out what happened. Well, there he is with a knife. So, Gadsad said Gadsad was responding to this here. He said, there will be civil war. He's responding to John James. You can smell the anger across the UK tonight. Decent people have had enough. Well, how far are the British people going to be pushed? How far will they allow themselves to be pushed? That's the question. Here from Alan D. Miller, multiple stab attack on a train in Huntingdon around 6 p.m. This week we've seen stabbing to death dog walker in Uxbridge, stabbing to death bank clerk in Derby, screwdriver stabbing female to death in Walsall, asylum hotel. Who are the 2 arrested? What's happening in UK? Let's take a look at this.
Still trying to get all the facts together on this. It was an incident that unfolded around about 6 o'clock this evening, we're told, on a train in which multiple people, and no firmer number than that, has been put on it. Just that as the description coming from British Transport Police, saying that multiple people have been stabbed. The train pulled into Huntingdon Station in Cambridgeshire. It is a multi-agency response, as you would imagine. British Transport Police, of course, has primacy for the rail network, but they are being assisted by the local force concerned, which is Cambridgeshire Constabulary. We also have, understandably, with multiple stab wound victims, the ambulance service in attendance as well. What the police have said, British Transport Police, and as I say, it's very sort of scant details so far. They say that we are currently responding to an incident on a train to Huntingdon where multiple people have been stabbed. Officers.
Listen to an eyewitness about the stabbings on the train. Let's take a look.
What happened was I was in Coach G and there was quite a few people coming through Coach G, and one of the people that were coming through, I had my headphones on, then heard them say, oh, they've got a knife, I've been stabbed. And then when looking up, so they were making their way through the carriage to get away from the incident, from the suspect. They were extremely bloodied. That person ended up, when we pulled in, they were basically on the floor. We couldn't progress further down the train away from the suspect because that person ended up collapsing on the floor. So they were taken into an ambulance pretty much straight away. I think the driver did the right thing when we called the emergency or contact to let the driver know that something's going on. He pulled into Huntingdon, which is the right thing. Couldn't stop anywhere because anything could have happened. It was the right thing. We were ushered out of the station from the platform, and there was multiple people that had been stabbed that was making their way down, but the suspect had also come off the train as well. So while we were being told to come out of the station, the suspect was obviously running rampant as well. And I don't know reason. No one knows the reason why. The people that did witness it have actually gone off to the HQ. They were taken with.
Well, I think there's a very high likelihood that everybody knows exactly what happened. Let's see. Meanwhile, while that's going on, what are the police concerned with? Counselor reported to the police for saying she was born and bred in Falkirk. These are the priorities. What is this one here? Okay. Hold on. Okay, so what's happening in the UK? Wall Street Apes. No longer a conspiracy theory. Muslim leader in the UK calls for non-Muslims to start paying the jizya. That's the tax that all non-Muslims must pay to the Islamic State for not being a Muslim. Let's hear this. So when you've got this going on in your country en masse, you're going to have problems.
In jizya, we start saying like this, like that. There's no need. And just to clarify as well, yes, jizya is taken from the non-Muslims. We take the jizya from the non-Muslims, the combatants, the enemies of Allah and His Rasul, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in exchange. And when we say like tax, it's not like a council tax or road tax that you're paying. You understand? And I'll get to that point as well. Is we're taking in exchange for your blood, for your life. Do you understand? We're taking it in exchange for your blood, for your life. This is mentioned by the commentators of the Quran as well. The Mufassirin, they've explained, the Fuqaha have gone into detail.
So I don't know why that guy, if that guy is in the UK, in fact, actually, hold on, let's go underneath here. Why? There's no reason for him to be there or in any Western country. Muslim, looks like there is a way. Let's see. Muslim Council of Britain warns that if halal slaughter is banned, Muslims would leave the UK. Well, I think they might actually just riot, actually. A Muslim explains why they support the left. They're seen as very stupid, apparently. The left is seen as very stupid by Islamists. Let's take a look.
Extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Would never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that, But would she have an abortion? Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihad?
Yeah. Wes better wake up. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Tommy Robinson posted this. This was back from October 14th. Not a terrorist. Held a manuscript for Al-Qaeda, killed 3 innocent children, had enough poison to kill thousands, inspired by Islamic extremism. Arrested and trialed for terrorism, Tommy Robinson didn't give his passcode for his mobile device to counter terrorism officers. That's the two-tiered, upside-down world that British people are trying to fight. Look here. Check this out. Muslim man makes their intentions clear. Let's take a look. UK stop scammers is the watermark there. Let's take a look.
What message do you want to give to the far-right people? The message I want to give to the far-right people is we're here to take over your country. You can't stop us. You can try, but we're here to uphold Sharia law, and yeah, that's it. All right. What message do you want to give to the far-right people?
Time to wake up. Time to wake up. All right. So, all right. And hold on. I want to show you one more thing here. Hold on. Yeah, Basil the Great posted this. This is back a couple of weeks ago. UK government says we're all terrorists. Let's see. Extreme right-wing cultural nationalism. Western culture is under threat from mass migration, a lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. That makes you the terrorist if you accurately describe reality. Just like Orwell warned about. Huh? All right, let's go back to the chat. Hold on a second. Something wonderful has just happened, people. I don't know if you're aware of this. Rosie has just gifted a subscription to Spambot. And what can I say? I mean, you know what happens. Best person ever. Best person ever, Rosie. Every other person in history, human garbage compared to Rosie. We all know. And all for less than the cost of a brand new Tesla Cybertruck. It's a beautiful thing. And Rosie knows that the best thing you can do for Radio Baloney is to gift memberships away. It's the best way to help the channel. She knows that. And Spambot as well, who received it, is a lifelong honorary best person ever for having donated, I believe it's 83 memberships over time, which is awesome. Anyway, thanks very much, Rosie. And Spambot. Let's get to the chat. All right. Rosie says, X shadow banned me once for being spammy. Twice they said they thought I was a bot. Had to prove I am human. This time they purged all the bots. They said I had violated their rules. Perma ban. So I've got to I think I'll probably meet you over on Truth Social, I think. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, and this is a great point, you might be a robot. Some people don't know they are actually robots. Spambot says, hold on a second. What am I doing here? I want this one. There we go. Spambot says 99.9999999% chance they are converts to Islam. The two guys in England. Yeah, it's very likely. They actually do target black British people for that, to convert them. Spambot says, looks like my credit card company has blocked Rumble. My monthly premium subscription was declined. That's weird. I would contact them about that. I have not heard of that happening to anybody else. I think you should contact them about that. Maybe there's some sort of mistake. I have not. Mine hasn't been, and I've not heard of that happening to anybody. So that sucks, though. But I would contact your credit card company because maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake on Rumble's side. Rosie said, God told me I am a child of God, so I think I am not a robot. Thank you very much. I don't think Rosie's a robot. Come on, that's crazy talk. Let's see. Spambot says, Islamists have inroads via royal family. King Chuck has been seen hanging around imams and attending services before he was crowned. Well, he is the virtue king, is what he is. That's what he really is. He's not the king of England. He's the king of virtue. And he's just an embarrassment. He's awful. He's awful. It's weak men like him that will see the UK and its incredible, glorious history just burnt to the ground. All right. Spambot says, yeah, 83. That's unbelievable. 83 memberships Spambot donated to the channel over time. That's why he's an honorary lifelong best person ever. He earned that. Let's see. Elf support, how you doing? He says not having a chat highlight actually makes mine stand out. As a not one of us, one of us, one of us. Just kidding. Let's see. You're one of us. It's okay. All right. Elf support says the British Empire always wanted to place themselves into the Mideast trade routes. What better way than to bring it home? Good point. Good point. Let's continue with the news here. So Obama campaigns with scandal-plagued Virginia Dem who fantasized about murdering opponents. So you know what? Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up. I should have done this earlier, but hold on. I think I can get this in just a second. Let me pull up my folder for that guy, my bookmark for that guy. Where is he? Where is he? I'm searching for him. Let's see. Where is that crazy guy? Give me 1 second. I'm just searching. I thought I made a new thing for him. Maybe I didn't. Was it under here? Okay, so I can't find it, but it doesn't matter. It'll talk about it in this article. So Obama is perfectly comfortable on the same stage as that guy. And look, it's just the Dems now. It's just the Democrats. Like political violence, political assassination, it's on the table. It's not a bug, it's a feature at this point. So that's where it's at. Obama, in other times, that guy would get nowhere near Obama. Obama would not want to be stained with that guy's reputation. But these days, no, it doesn't matter. It's just the Democratic Party now. We have to be able to disagree without calling each other nasty names or demonizing each other. Is that what he said? Well, what about wishing people dead and their children? How about that? Apparently, that's fine. Former President Barack Obama hit the campaign trail in Virginia on Saturday, speaking on behalf of Democratic gubernatorial nominee Abigail Spanberger and standing on the same stage as scandal-plagued Attorney General nominee Jay Jones. With the general elections just 3 days away, Obama stumped alongside Jones, who made headlines over resurfaced text in which he advocated for the assassination of then State House Speaker Todd Gilbert, a Republican, and suggested that he and his wife should have to watch one of their young children die. In other years, in earlier years, Obama would not have gotten within 1,000 feet of this guy. It would have been considered too damaging to his reputation. Now, this is the Democrats now. This is the Democrats. What's he saying here? Let's take a look. Oh, God damn it. All right. Sorry, guys. Do I have to repeat that whole thing? I got to read it over again. All right, in case I want to clip this. Or actually, just screw it. All right, let's watch.
And Abigail doesn't just believe in working with everybody, she also believes, and this is really important, in listening to everybody, whether they voted for her or not. Because she knows that if we want to make progress on the things that we care about, we have to be able to disagree without calling each other nasty names or demonizing each other.
This is all just bullshit. This is all just bullshit. That is the left writ large across the Western world now. It's the opposite of what he just said. This is just gaslighting.
So at a time when our politics feels broken, we need desperately leaders like Abigail, public servants who are in it for the right reasons and are focused on the future.
Yeah, but you're standing on stage with a guy who's a psychopath. So I don't know. Do they have, I guess the point just being that this is the Democrats now, right? There is no principle. They don't care. There's just power. That's it, right? It's just right before the election and they just got to win and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they have there with them. They don't really care anyway. It seems that they kind of agree, right? And this is all like not very long after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And it just doesn't matter. It's not a bug. It's a feature. This is who the left is now. The left is okay with it. The left is okay with this, with wishing their opponents dead. All right, let's move on. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's get back to the chat for a second. Spambot said, my replies on X usually get more than a few likes. I think I'm getting suppressed lately. Well, I mean, if you think that all of the purple-haired gremlins were removed, they weren't. They weren't, and new ones got in. I'm sure they are constantly trying to infiltrate X. All right. All right, let's move on. So President Trump bodies 60 Minutes after she begs for his secret military plans of trying to work to invade Taiwan. It's from Eric Doherty. Why ask the question? Why bother asking the question? Do you really expect an answer? I mean, how dumb are these people? How stupid are these people? Obviously, he's not going to tell you his plans. Let's take a look. I mean, she's not asking him what he's going to have for lunch tomorrow or dinner tonight, right? No. Why would you even expect it? It's just weird.
Would you order U.S. forces to defend Taiwan?
You'll find out if it happens. And he understands the answer to that.
Why not say
This
it?
never even came up yesterday as a subject. He never brought it up. People were a little surprised at that. He never brought it up because he understands it, and he understands it very well.
Do you mind if I ask, when you say he understands, why not communicate that publicly to the rest of us? What does he
Because
understand?
I don't want to give away. I can't give away my secrets. I don't want to be one of these guys that tells you exactly what's going to happen if something happens. The other side knows, but I'm not somebody that tells you everything because you're asking me a question. But they understand what's going to happen, and he is openly said, and his people have openly said at meetings, we would never do anything while President Trump is president because they know the consequences.
Did you order U.S. forces to defend?
So I don't know. I mean, they know what they're going to get. Like, it's amazing. All right. So there's that. Let's move on. So I guess these SNAP benefits have run out. So people use, SNAP, food stamps interchangeably, basically the same thing. American Papa Bear posted this. This woman records her entire family running out of the store after they stole products, kids and even a baby. So, yeah, they've been saying they're going to steal, but I mean, it seems like they were already there's lots of videos of people stealing, right? That's why in some blue cities, at least, they've got things like locked behind glass. That's because of the stealing already. But let's take a look.
When you got the whole team helping, no EBT.
Open the door. So you got
That's terrible. When they end up in jail and their kids in foster care, they may not think this is so damn funny. I mean, maybe it was staged, but it doesn't seem like it. Just awful. Just awful. These poor kids are learning to steal. Such a shame. They don't stand a chance in society as adults. Certainly not raising models as citizens. Just appalling. Gene Robinson. When the EBT card doesn't swipe, the truth comes out. Last night, the Red Apple Quick Fill in Buffalo, Lower East Side, where I live, it's turned into a war zone. Let's take a look at this.
It's live out here.
Yo, they really going up.
Oh, hell no.
And then you don't have a Red Apple anymore, a Red Apple store anymore. And I guess it was racism's fault. Let's see. All right, let's move on. So, what's going on here? Kevin Pacitti. This is awesome. Team notwithstanding versus a team. Child, child exploitation material. Absolutely nails it. Terry Newman says, choose your fighter. So in Canada, the Supreme Court has decided against a mandatory minimum 1-year sentence for people with CP. And it's just Canada. Now, there's arguments about using the notwithstanding clause to get around the insane decision. Norman Spector posted this from Daniel Smith. This decision is outrageous. The possession of child exploitation materials is a heinous crime, and even a 1-year minimum sentence is already not enough, I think she's probably about to say there. So there's one side, Daniel Smith, and the other side is... from the breakdown, pay very close attention. Daniel Smith is using extreme examples to normalize the use of the notwithstanding clause. Yeah. So which team? You've got an insane decision by the Supreme Court. Which team are you on? Which team are you on? Oh, my God. What have we got here? So Steve Cooner, MLA, posts this. Conservative Caucus of British Columbia. NDP MLA Stephanie Higginson says she won't support the Drug Use Prevention Education in Schools Act because she finds explicitly discouraging drug use to be deeply concerning. So it's deeply concerning to tell children, to educate children on the dangers of drugs. So this is just lunacy. Of course it's lunacy. This is part of, harm management, which has been a disaster over the, I think, 25-year history, and it's 25-year history in British Columbia and other places in the country. Let's see.
Is not only outdated, in fact, it reminds me of the 1980s era scared straight that was in place when I was young. It risks undermining the very
Do you mean when you had an order of magnitude less human tragedy, overdoses, destroyed families? Do you mean then? Outdated? I guess an order of magnitude less tragedy is outdated. See, you have to understand, this is NDP, so far left. They don't care about reality. They're not trying to fit their ideology into the world. They're trying to fit the world into their ideology. And they will break the world, happily break the world in the process. And let's just listen to evidence of that right now.
outcomes it seeks to achieve. The bill mandates a curriculum that explicitly discourages drug use and promotes stigma against drug use as a deterrent. This language is deeply concerning. We know from decades of research and experience that stigmatizing drug use does not prevent it. Is not only
We know from decades of research that stigmatizing drug use does not discourage it. Well, it's not going to stop everybody from using it, but it seems like when you don't stigmatize it, when you don't have harsh sentences, by the way, for people making it and selling it, you end up, well, it doesn't seem like, we know for a fact that you get in British Columbia an order of magnitude greater overdose deaths, greater human tragedy, the attendant increases in crime, insurance costs. It's a huge burden on the healthcare system. Like, we know that. It's on their own website. Like, the government statistics on this prove that. So, but again, if you're on the left now, if you're a real leftist now, none of it matters to you. You don't care. You don't care about reality. This feels progressive. What she's saying feels progressive, so therefore it must be correct. Right? And stigmatizing drug use, or I guess we could say stigmatizing ruining your life being a drug addict is bad. That sounds conservative, so it must be bad. So you've got to do the thing that feels progressive and nice. Even if it's not, even if you're guaranteeing far more people's lives will be ended or ruined for your virtue. It's insanity. This has to end. JJ McCullough says, she says it risks undermining the very outcomes it seeks to achieve, but it's not obvious what outcomes she even deems worth achieving in the first place. If drug use shouldn't be stigmatized, then why should it be prevented? Why prevent something that's neutral to good? Well, what he's pointing out here, I think very effectively, is the incoherence of their ideology. And again, when I say that they're not trying to fit their ideology into the world, they're trying to fit the world into their ideology, and they're all too happy to break the world in the process. This is what I'm talking about. Right? Reality doesn't matter to her. And you can show her the statistics, right? You can show her, say, hey, look, an order of magnitude, greater deaths and misery and human misery and destroyed families under these policies because of this ideology. And she'll just say, it's conservatives' fault. We didn't go left-wing enough. That's what she'll say. It's maddening. It's insane. The thing is, you can't expect them to be rational because they're not. They don't care about it. They don't care if it makes sense or if it works. They don't care about the results. They just care that it feels progressive. All right. Let's go back to the chat for a minute. All right. Let's see what's going on. Spambot's got a link here, so maybe I'll do that link. Hold on. Let me check it out. What is this? I'll have to check it out. Hold on. Copy link address. All right. Give me 1 second, everybody. We're going to go here. Be right there. So what is this? All right. Let's check it out. Let's see. Diane Alistair says, this is an old meme, but it still explains the trans right movement better than any other I've seen. So let's see. So I can accommodate this. It's no big deal that she, her pronouns. Oh, well, in that case, lesbians must have sex with me, admit me in sex-specific support groups, elect me to women's positions, let me play women's sport, give me women's awards, blah, 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 blah. You get the point. Basically everything that's happened. Yeah, so that, that pretty much does sum it up exactly, doesn't it? Slippery slope, I guess. Slippery slope, I think, right? Slippery slope is, this is what I think slippery slope, the word was, that phrase was coined for, I think. Let's see. Let's see. We got another one from him here. Let me pull up another one. Hold on. All right. If this isn't in tonight's bookmarks, add it. All right. Let me copy this. Copy link address. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's check this one out. Oh, yeah. This is a good one. All right. Let's check it out. This is from Spambot. Let's see. Fake Mark Carney posted this. I did see this one earlier, actually. This is what happens when I insist on meeting Canadian sports teams during their championship push. So, fake Mark Carney. So let's see. Edmonton Oilers, women's rugby team, Toronto Blue Jays. This is all just since he's been prime minister. 0-3. 0-3. So where's he knocking next, Mark Carney? Yeah, it pretty much sums it up. It's the Carney curse at this point, but it's more than a Carney curse. It's more because it goes back to the year before he became prime minister with the Edmonton Oilers losing in the finals that year. I just believe, this is my belief, okay? It's just that the universe has cursed Canada because Canada has become an affront to nature itself. So that's just what I think, though. Let's see. So you guys are talking about that video with the family coming out saying the video could be staged. Is that what you guys are talking about? Trudeau Survivor says, I vote staged for the simple reason that they were carrying the food instead of it being in the shopping cart. It could have been staged. Yeah, I mean, it could have been. But I don't know. It didn't have a staged feel totally. Rosie says, so great. Let's teach our kids poor character. Yeah. Spambot is on the team. Alberta goes alone. Well, Spambot has had it with Canada. Spambot wants out. I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. And it's a different country now. It is a different country. It's been remade in the image of Justin Trudeau. And that's not a good thing. That's a really bad thing. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says Stephanie Higginson must own shares in Safe Supply. She has some vested financial interest. I don't know. She's just she's a woke mind virus zombie. Women are, I mean, I hate to say this, it's obviously not all women, but women are more susceptible to the mind virus because they tend to be on average more agreeable. Of course, that's not saying all women. And of course, there are woke men. But if you take a look at polling, women are more infected than men by the woke mind virus. Rosie says, in Greenland, will you please make sure they stop this silly clock change activity? As soon as we take over Greenland, we'll do that. That's the first thing. First, day one executive order. Yeah, JJ Nevada is saying absolutely, Rosie. I think JJ will rule at Greenland. It was his idea, frankly. All right. Looks like Spambot's got another one for us. We'll do one more. Let's indulge Spambot today. All right. Remind me to take the one moment please off if I forget again, because I probably will. See, we're an hour into this already. Holy macaroni. Crazy town. Let's see. I don't even understand this one. Let's see. Donna G, I did it. Finally managed to adjust the clock on the stove. I don't even get it. All right. So that's it. Let's move on. All right. We did well. Canada, Pierre Poilievre. All right. So I want to show you this interview on the CBC with Pierre Poilievre and Rosemary Barton. And one thing you will notice in this is the constant attempts to frame and interrupt in a way that you'd never see Rosemary Barton do with, say, a Mark Carney or just any liberal ever, or NDP for that matter. Let's take a look here.
Maybe if you'd introduced the budget at the beginning of the fiscal year, like most normal, competent prime ministers would have done, and which all prime ministers used to do, we could have affected the deficit. But, Rosie, the half to 2/3 of the fiscal year is behind us. The money's already spent.
Sure.
So I would be lying to people if I said that I owned a time machine that would allow me to go back and unspend money that Mark Carney has been spending for the last seven months. So I would like a zero deficit, but the Liberals have put us in this mess. And I
see, she's like, yeah. She wants to get in. She doesn't like the way that it's going. Right? Her job is to get Mark Carney elected, whatever the next election is. That's her job. She's not here to inform. She's here to manipulate. And you will notice that it's the constant little interruptions. I mean, for one thing, the narrative from her and her teleprompter and others on CBC is that Pierre Poilievre is aggressive and he's divisive. And so she's attempting to create an atmosphere that feels tense to further that narrative. So let's continue.
Work with what I got.
So you are not going to support the budget. There's no way you could do that. You can't lose an election, say Mark Carney's the worst, and then support the budget. That's not possible. Right?
Oh, well, I haven't seen the budget. I haven't seen the budget. I don't have telepathic powers to tell you what's in it. If it were to bring down the cost of living, an affordable budget for an affordable living is something that I support.
None of these things are, you know what the deficit's going to be. On that premise alone, I don't imagine you can support the budget.
But in addition to the deficit, I came with some very collaborative ideas. And I asked, why isn't the government at least considering them? I've said, let's bring down the cost of food by getting rid of the industrial carbon tax on farmers and the people who feed us. Let's get rid of the food packaging tax that adds $1 billion to food prices. The fuel standard tax that's going to jack up gas prices 17 cents. Get rid of all that. And that would make food more affordable for the 2.2 million people lined up at food banks. And if the government were in a collaborative mode, recognizing they only have a minority, they would accept my ideas.
Can you hear her there? Just, yeah. She's just dying to jump in. She's not liking what she's hearing here. This might appeal to Canadians, and that's not her job. She's not there to help Pierre Poilievre. She's there to try and hurt him.
For an affordable budget, for an affordable Canada.
Oh, it's so annoying. Oh, it's irritating, and it's so obvious as well. Hold on a second. I don't know why he keeps doing that. Let's see. Pierre Poilievre. There we go. All right. We've got some more here, but this is just exactly what you would expect from the CBC. Let's watch this one here.
Beef. It seems like everywhere Mark Carney goes with these grand meetings and photo ops, we end up with more tariffs. His failures abroad are costing us at home.
He met with the Chinese president, though, and they made a decision that their officials were going to get together and try and solve the trade irritants. He is trying to make some progress. No, you don't see those things as a bit of progress?
What progress? Can you name one tariff line that he's reduced abroad?
Not at this stage, no.
Not one. No. He said 7 months.
So what would
He's been on 20 trips.
What would you like to see him do then?
Just keeps interrupting. She's trying to make it adversarial on purpose because it furthers their narrative that Pierre Poilievre is aggressive and divisive and blah, blah, blah. And he's mean. Don't forget how mean he is. She is so irritating in this. And as you can hear, I mean, it's all just playing cover for Mark Carney. Well, he's making progress. He went and talked to some people. That's progress, right? That's progress, right? Let's continue.
What do you think is the missing piece here?
Keep his promise.
Yeah, but how? It's easy to say that. It's the how that's difficult.
Don't say that about Mark Carney. Don't say that. It's hard. It's so hard for him. It's so hard for him. Don't you appreciate that? Stop being divisive.
Well, the how, I said that I would face President Trump and the rest of the world from a position of strength. Right now, we're in a position of weakness. The Americans know we can't sell our goods to anyone else because we don't have pipelines and LNG plants to get our most valuable export to other markets. I would pass the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which would rapidly greenlight and legalize pipelines, LNG plants, and other infrastructure.
But the government is doing some of that. There's an LNG plant that's happening. There are major projects.
By Stephen Harper.
Well, there's.
Like, she's supposed to be the top politics person in Canada, in Canadian media. Does she not know that? Well, I think that she does. I think that, again, though, she knows what her job is, right? Her job is to keep the Liberals in power so the money keeps flowing into the CBC, and also just because that's her own political preference. That's her job, and she knows it.
An expansion of it. There's an expansion. Right. And the Major Projects Office, it does allow them to get around laws and regulations. You know, that's the goal of it.
That's the goal. We're 7 months in, and the clock is ticking. I think we've been through enough goal setting, and now it's time for results achieved, and we're not getting any results. Mr. Carney won't even tell us if he supports an oil pipeline to the Pacific. His energy minister says it's just too hypothetical. What do you mean hypothetical? We had a project that was approved prior to the Liberals taking office. So here we are with no progress on expanding our resources or getting things done. It's all very good that he's setting up these offices and agencies in Ottawa, but I've got news for him. We're not going to make our economy economically independent by setting up new bureaucracies in Ottawa.
I want to ask you about leadership, because I know that it's probably on your mind. You have a leadership review coming up in January. How confident are you that you will be okay, that you will survive that vote?
Very.
Yeah. Why? What makes you confident?
Well, because I'm going to focus on doing my job. And people say, well, you're going to get distracted with this. And the answer is no, because the same thing I have to do in January is what I have to do on Election Day, which is to do a good job.
Yeah.
And that means doing what I was sent here to do by the record 8.3 million people who voted for us, which is to fight for an affordable life, fight for our young people to be able to afford homes, fight for parents to be able to have safe streets for their kids to grow up on. And that's the job I'm doing, and that's why I believe I'll win the support of both the party and the country.
And you think that the party will be willing to give you a second chance? Because the last time they did that was Stephen Harper.
And look how that turned out.
Yeah, that's right.
But, for 10 years. So.
But do you
Oh, she thought she had a gotcha there for a second. He says, well, look how that turned out.
You think
I'm glad you pointed that one out.
Do you think that they'll be willing to give you a second chance, Mr. Poilievre?
I think so. I'm fighting for the things that our party and our country need. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about our party is we're united around the things that we believe in and are fighting for. We want balanced budgets and low taxes so people can afford good lives. We want to lock up criminals so that our people are safe. We want to get immigration and borders back under control. We want a common Canadian identity that unites us all. We want to bring back the promise of this country, that anyone who works hard gets a great life. And so the great thing I have, the benefit I have, is a party whose values and interests are aligned with the country's. And that's why I think both January and the next election will go in the right direction.
Listen, really appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You know, I don't mind adversarial. I like adversarial. Like the media should be adversarial. It's just you have to do it equally with everybody. And that's not what we get. It's just the constant bad framing, an adversarial approach to whoever the conservative leader is, whoever it is. They say it every time. You know, divisive, far right, or they'll some backbencher now represents the entire party and the leader of the party. This is what happens every single time. This talk about how Canadians don't like Pierre Poilievre because they see him as divisive. And they will the next one because CBC, CTV, Global, the Toronto Star are going to tell Canadians that they're divisive. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a clone of Mark Carney, who just says the exact same things, but if he's leading the Conservative Party, he'll be divisive and far right and blah, 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 blah. It's an automatic. That's what happens in Canada. They're not, you think you're going to get a new leader and the CBC, the press isn't going to label him as far right and aggressive and mean and divisive? Of course. And by the way, who ever heard of an opposition leader being divisive or any politician being divisive? Who ever heard of that? That's politics, dummies. Yeah, and Mark Carney saying that Pierre Poilievre will kneel before Trump. That wasn't divisive. Nobody said that was divisive, weirdly. Or when he lied that Pierre Poilievre was going to ban abortion in Canada, that wasn't divisive either. So interesting. Let's hold on. I want to see what else we've got here. I think that we already watched that one. Hold on. I think I got one more here I want to show you. All right, let's go here. Mark Nixon posted this.
Mr. Carney promised a good deal by July 21st. He promised he could negotiate a win with President Trump. Those were his promises. Now, some might say, look, it's unrealistic to expect to get that from President Trump. So why did he promise it?
Well,
it was not his only, it wasn't just that it was a promise.
Yeah.
It was the promise.
Except you promised when you were running to be prime minister that tariffs would be paused across the board and that you would get a deal with Donald Trump with tariffs paused. I mean, that also doesn't seem very plausible given the way the president has behaved.
Well, I have to be prime minister for you to find out.
Well,
right? But what we do know is that Mr. Carney is prime minister, has been for 7 months, and these are the results that he's got. Since he promised to get rid of American tariffs, they've doubled and tripled in the case of softwood lumber. He says he's going to open up other markets. So he meets with the Chinese. And what do? They increase tariffs on canola, seafood, and pork. He meets with the Indians. What do? Increase tariffs on our peas by 30%. He meets with the Brits. What do? They hit us with blockades of our beef. It seems like everywhere Mark Carney goes with these grand meetings and photo ops, we end up with more tariffs. His failures abroad are costing us at home.
Yeah, there's Rosemary Barton with the but. Don't say that about Mark Carney. But. Oh, it's just gross. Just repulsive. They can't be defunded fast enough for me. It should be when Pierre Poilievre becomes prime minister again, God willing, just please first day defund all of them. Just defund them all. Defund them all. And no more subsidies for anybody. Just defund them all. You can't fund people to just attack you, to just unreasonably attack you, to just be partisans trying to destroy. Partisans that hate. Right now, according to the polls, 42% of Canadians. No thanks. All right, let's get back to the chat for a minute. What do we got going on? Trudeau Survivor says Rosemary Barton has the feminist ick. Let's see. Rosie says, Pierre is smiling more this week than I've ever seen him. Well, he handled himself very well in that interview, so he didn't fall into her trap. She was trying to set a negative tone, because the framing is always negative towards Pierre Poilievre, right? So that's how they have deranged so many Canadians over so many years. It's just the drip, drip, drip of negative framing all the time, and positive framing for the Liberals. And he just didn't fall into her trap there. Let's see. Rosie says, yes, all these people prove over and over again they are not there to interview, but to paint a picture. Evil picture of lies. Joe Rogan actually listens. He does, actually. Nawada says, gotta love Joe. Joe is on Rumble now, too. Joe's good, because Joe's just a regular guy who's curious and actually wants to know what's actually happening. People feel like they're having a conversation with a normal person when they're watching Joe Rogan. JJ Nevada says another hobgoblin commie, talking about Rosemary Barton. Nevada says, I bet she thinks like a commie too. A dirty, filthy commie, probably. Let's see. All right. Let's move on. Now what are we doing? All right. So what's going on here? CBC Watcher. So this is a conversation about diversity of viewpoints on the CBC. So here's Peter Menzies talking about this, and let's take a quick look at this because I think this is valuable. The CBC, if they wanted to earn their money or justify the money, the I think it's $5 billion now that they get from the government, if they wanted to earn that, they would have real diversity of viewpoint on their panels, right? So when they have their opinion panels on to talk about Canadian issues and politics, they would have somebody that represents the 41 point something of Canadians that voted for Pierre Poilievre in the last election. They don't. They refuse. It is clearly just a matter of partisanship and political bias and, frankly, wokeness. And let's hear this conversation about it.
Self-critical.
Can I just make one more point on the diversity
go ahead, Peter.
issue? I mean, Bouchard's appointment was announced about a year ago. I think it was a year ago this week, and albeit she didn't actually start the job until January the 1st, nothing has changed. She's been in the job for close to a year, and nothing has changed. There's a plan. I mean, and there's always a plan posted every year, posted in terms of that. But I have no idea what she means by if they're going to change and get more diverse perspectives. I mean, the at-issue panel is still, God bless them, Althea and Chantal and Andrew and Rosemary, each of which is eminently qualified, but as a group, there's very little diversity in terms of their opinions.
And as we said as well, the head of the CBC is appointed by the Liberals. So you know how that's going to go.
So what do they mean by more diversity? Are they going to add somebody from the West who thinks like Chantal Hébert, or an Indigenous person who thinks like Andrew Coyne? Or are they going to actually find a Rex Murphy, bless his soul, or heaven forbid a Jordan Peterson or somebody who would actually shake things up and get a much broader viewpoints going there and actually make for something that would be really interesting to watch. So I don't see any.
Can you imagine how much the ratings would be improved if they had Jordan Peterson on those panels? I mean, that would be appointment viewing like every single time.
Indication that maybe it's too early to draw those conclusions, but I think it's up to the CBC to prove to the disaffected that it actually, in some meaningful way, that it's serious about change. And I don't expect from any of this, and particularly from the Senate appearances last week, where Brodie Fenlon said he's never worked in a less biased newsroom than at CBC. I mean, read the friggin' room. I mean, come on. right?
That was a doozy.
You'll have to send me that clip. I don't think we'll ever. I don't think we'll ever.
I think they're embedded. I think the CBC is eternal. It will never change. It will survive everything.
A less biased newsroom ever. Well, if you're a true believer, right, and you just swallow everything woke whole, yeah, you don't think you're being biased. You think it's just the truth. You think it's unbiased. You think you're being objective, right? Let's see. Let's move on. All right. So what's going on here? So will we see an election? I'm not sold on it. I think the NDP will probably prop up the Liberals again because they're just so used to it now at this point. I think they could benefit from an early election, the NDP. I don't think they could help but benefit from it. But I think the expectation now is that it has to be with the NDP. They are just going to prop up the Liberals because, again, it's all they seem to exist for at this point. CBC Watcher posted this. Bloc Québécois finance critic Jean-Denis Garon says, Mr. McKinnon, he's a very partisan leader, and he's the one who's been threatening to go in election in the House. Let's take a look at this. Let's see if this is in English. All right. Yeah, this will be in English.
I take your point, and I had this same debate with Stephen McKinnon, the Liberal House leader, but the Bloc also has agency here. You may not like the budget, it may not respond to your demands, but it will be up to you to decide whether to support it, which could have the effect of causing an election.
We have agency, but we also have responsibility, and we're taking this responsibility very seriously, which is why, as I said, our demands have been very clear since 1 month. Now, Mr. McKinnon he's a very partisan leader. And he's the one who's been threatening to go in election in the House, and he didn't give us a call. He didn't start negotiating, and he even forged the numbers telling Canadians that we're asking for $30-something billion in expenses. He multiplied the number by 5 because what we're asking is 1/5 of that. So my impression is that they actually are lying to Canadians and Quebecers to go into an election, but it's not too late. Negotiation can go on until the day before the budget, but it is up to them.
Just last question, Mr. Caron. Could you abstain? Would that be a way to protest what is not there and make sure that an election is avoided? No.
We are members of Parliament. We're elected to vote, and the vote on the budget is an especially important vote. And I can tell you that whatever way we decide to vote, there's going to be 22 Bloc members of Parliament standing up in the House voting in the same way.
So the question is, do the Liberals want to have their cake and eat it too? In other words, do they want to have an election because they think they can get a majority, but they don't want to be blamed for the election? So therefore, the budget's full of all kinds of poison pills to get the Bloc to not vote for it. Obviously, the Conservatives are not going to vote for it, and to get the NDP to not vote for it. Now, the NDP is in kind of disarray right now, even though their numbers are going up. Their support is starting to leach back from the Liberals after the last election. Probably the action against the Air Canada strike probably has something to do with that, because obviously the NDP very pro-union. But the NDP is in disarray. They're broke. They only have an interim leader right now. They're going to be getting a new leader in March next year. So I think they probably do not want an election now. So even if there are poison pills, cuts to, and we don't know what's in it yet. We don't know what's going to be in that yet. We won't know till the budget actually drops. But if there's, a lot of, public sector cuts, well, that would be a poison pill for the NDP, right? But would they prop up the Liberals anyway, vote for, because the Liberals only need the NDP to pass the budget. Would they vote for the budget anyway or abstain to let it pass so they can avoid an election. I think the NDP should actually go in, actually. I think that Mark Carney is actually weak right now. I think the Liberals are actually weak right now, and I think that the NDP would bet. I think the NDP could double their seats from 7. Because that support is leaching back. It's leaching back to the NDP, especially if it's seen as being, the Liberals wanting the election. Because Mark Carney, if he really wants an election, can just dissolve Parliament and call an election, right? He just doesn't want to get blamed for it. So I think the NDP leader right now, Don Davies, is he's sane at least. I mean, I don't like him. He's a commie, right? But he's got that image as more of the, the style of more of the old school, maybe Jack Layton type NDP leader. He doesn't ooze wokeness. He seems to be more of that traditional union NDP leader. And I think, honestly, that would be their smartest choice to go with. He won't end up being I doubt he would end up becoming he's in the running to be not the interim, but the actual leader of the federal NDP. I think because he's a straight white man, the NDP is the wokest party they're competing with the Liberals to be the wokest party in Canada. I think that would be distasteful to the hardcore NDPers who are going to want something. They're going to want diversity, right? That's going to be crucial to them. That's maybe the only thing they even care about these days. But Don Davies I think he is an effective leader. You can see with their numbers going up that he has been effective, and he's probably their best chance. But we'll just have to see. So the budget is dropping soon. So I think on Tuesday. So we're going to find out soon. All right. All right, let's go here. So we've already done that. All right. So PM Carney gives 2 examples of where he and President Xi can cooperate. So nobody's surprised by Mark Carney wanting to move closer to China. The China that's interfered to the benefit of the Liberal Party in the last 3 elections, who interfered in even the Liberal leadership campaign to the benefit of Mark Carney. Let's see, Mark Carney got a $250 million loan from a Chinese state bank right before he became prime minister. Let's see, he's been praising China and their green initiatives for years now, even though China is by far, it's like 30% of the world's emissions, but Mark Carney loves them. Net Zero Carney loves them. Let's take a listen here. I don't think we want to get closer to China. I'd rather have us work something out with the States and become even more integrated, actually, considering we're right next door and all.
Ian Austin from the New York Times. You described your meeting with President Xi as a turning point in relations with China. What changed to make that happen, and what needs to happen now to make sure that forward momentum continues and things don't reverse again?
I think we both described it as such. First point. I think at its core, it is about the way we treat each other, interact with each other. What we were saying earlier, this sort of pragmatic engagement. Where can we engage? Where are we not going to engage? Where do we agree? Where can we build? Where do we disagree? And we're not. And being clear about that. And there may be some bumps along the way when there's some ambiguity, but ironing those out as quickly as possible. And then there is, because there are a lot of areas where cooperation makes sense. Look, I'll give you an example. We are 2 countries that care about climate change.
2 countries that care about climate change. My God, it's hilarious. My God, hold on. We've got to do something. We need to do a fact check here. We need to fact check Mark Carney here. Fact check. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let's see, what's this one? Hold on 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. 2 countries that care about emissions, about fossil fuels. Let's see. Who's the biggest in the world? Who does the most? Oh, it's China, 31%. United States is 13%. Our relationship with the United States is over. It's over because of tariffs. But, there's a bright future with China, who's put 100%, like way worse tariffs than the United States, 100% tariffs on our agricultural products, but a bright, sunny future there. But after all, we are 2 countries really concerned with the environment. 31%. Let's see. United States 13, India 7, Russia 5. Where's Canada in here, by the way? 2%. Wait a second. Only 2% from Canada? Well, that almost makes me think that we can't change the global climate. I mean, they've been telling us that we can, but are we sure? I mean, 2%? It almost seems as if that's too small of an amount to change the global climate all by ourselves, especially when you're considering that, if Canada just disappeared off the map, that will not change the global climate at all. If it just, the world woke up and Canada wasn't there anymore, it was just forest, right? So that wouldn't do anything, but an industrial carbon tax. So we're not even talking about reducing. We're not talking about reducing our emissions from 2% to 0. We're talking about a fraction of a percent. These don't seem like good. These don't seem like good reasons for us to cozy up to China. These do not seem like good reasons for us to cozy up to China. I wonder if Mark Carney has some other, maybe some perverse incentive, right? Maybe there's some profit motive. Maybe this in some way increases his stature and his reputation amongst, I don't know, net zero zealot globalists.
About global solutions to climate change. Right there's an enormous area for cooperation. We are 2 countries, at least Canada traditionally has been a country who understands the international monetary and financial system and the changes in the international monetary and financial system, understand the importance of financial stability, the issues with transition and other aspects. This is an issue when you're the rising economic power. So there's another area of engagement.
Oh, that's technocrat speak. That's technocrat speak for, I don't want to tell you why I'm really doing this.
There. So there's a host of places where there is an alignment of issue above and beyond the direct commercial ties.
What about the 100% tariffs on agricultural products, Mark Carney? What about that? You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. I've made up my mind. I think he's a bad prime minister. I think he's a terrible prime minister whose interests are not Canada's interests. They're Mark Carney's interests. Good Lord. What's this? After sabotaging trade negotiations with the U.S., Mark Carney heads to China, and is now excited to build a more sustainable and inclusive relationship with them. Liberals would rather do business with communist China than with our southern neighbor. Yeah, tell me about threats to democracy as well, Mark Carney. Tell us about threats to democracy. Can you do that?
Thank you, Mr. President. It is a pleasure to meet you again and to meet you for the first time in my capacity as Prime Minister. I had the great pleasure of attending, amongst other meetings in China, the G20, over which you presided, at a time of great hope for the international system and great progress under the banner.
Shut up. By the way, this isn't the first time he's met Xi. He hasn't. Mark Carney had met Xi before he became prime minister as part of his net zero and business interests. So, yeah, but I'll spoil it for you. He doesn't mention anything about democracy there. So, just so you know. What's this one? Here he is talking about the budget and will it pass? Will it pass?
Prime Minister Murray Brewster with CBC News. Are you confident the budget's going to pass?
I am 100% confident that this budget is the right budget for this country at this moment. This is not a game. The responsibility.
It's not a game. It's very serious. That's why I delayed it until November 4th when it was supposed to be in the spring. That's why I delayed it. That's why I delayed it months and months to November 4th, because it's so serious, because it's not a game.
The government, myself, the Minister of Finance, and others is to put forward the right budget for the country at a moment like this. And that's what we're doing.
Prime Minister Murray Brewster.
Is sure it's the right thing for the country or for somebody something or somebody else? I think we're going to get the answer soon, and it's going to be it's not the best thing for Canada. Let's see. Mark Carney said he was misinformed about China being Canada's greatest threat. You mean the people who helped you win the election?
Good afternoon, Prime Minister Rafik Jikanian, CBC. Following your meeting with President Xi, neither Canada's readout or China's made mention of you bringing up things such as Uyghur detention camps or the transnational repression in Canada or Beijing's foreign interference into Canadian elections. Did you bring these issues up?
We had a discussion on foreign interference.
How?
Baloney. Absolutely. I do not believe that for a moment. Maybe they had a very short discussion where Mark Carney thanked Xi for his interference. That I can believe.
How did he react when you mentioned foreign interference into Canadian
Look,
elections?
we had a discussion that was our overall discussion was constructive, it was number one, constructive. Number two, marked a turning point in the relationship. It's important that we are engaged with the world's largest country by population, second largest economy by value, and increasingly influential.
Influential? Do you mean like in Canadian elections? Because, if he does want an election, I'm sure he wants to make sure he shows up that support with Xi, right? You're going to help me again, right?
So we need to be back in there, and now we are back in having those discussions.
Hi, Prime Minister. Sarah Ritchie with the Canadian Press. If you cast your mind back to April during the election campaign, I know it feels like a long time ago for me, you told Canadians that China was the biggest security threat to this country and to Canadians. Do you still believe that to be the case?
One of the advantages of having your security clearance is you're better informed about some of the threats, and I highly recommend that any.
That's another jab at Pierre Poilievre. If Pierre Poilievre had gotten he already has obviously security clearance as an MP for a long, long time. But if he had gotten the clearance to view the files on Chinese interference, he would be unable to talk about it on threat of prison. Mark Carney knows this.
Anyone either in the position of responsibility or seeking it has their security clearance. So I have a richer sense of the tapestries of threats that face our country.
Yeah, but you didn't answer the question. And the smugness. And this is a guy who knows. He knows that China interfered to his benefit with the Chinese diaspora in Canada. He knows this. The smugness, it's so gross. It's so disgusting. What a cretin this man is. All right. Let's get back. Just quickly, we're just going to be on this for a second. I Am Ken posted this. These are teachers in Tucson, Arizona, dressed up to mock Charlie's murder, Charlie Kirk's assassination. Their shirts literally say problem solved with fake blood down the side. It's time to expose every single one of them. Would you want these people teaching your children? Problem solved, the blood down the side. This is gruesome. Okay, it's a Halloween costume. Whatever. This is also political. And they are voicing their support for political assassination, gruesome political assassination. These are teachers. Would you want them teaching your children? Right? If your kid is political in any way, maybe wants to start up a young Republicans club or something at the school, would you be comfortable with these people teaching, being responsible for your child during the daytime? I certainly wouldn't. This level of fanaticism and zealotry and the support for violence and political assassination is not a bug in the left anymore. This is the left now. This is a feature of the left now. Okay. These aren't what we would have called in the past, fringe weirdos, right? These are mainstream weirdos. The fringe is the mainstream in the left now. And that's writ large across the Western world. We have to come to grips with this. Okay. These are what we would have just seen as normal people not very long ago. Well, this ain't very damn normal. These are a bunch of fanatics. These are a bunch of Bolsheviks, right? These people support political assassinations. And you can guarantee that none of them have actually sat down and dealt honestly with Charlie Kirk's words at any point, right? They're just going with they're going with fashion, what feels left wing. So, TV said that Charlie Kirk is evil. TikTok said that Charlie Kirk's evil, and that's good enough for them. This is beyond shocking. These are all teachers at the same school. Homeschool, I guess. I guess you just have to homeschool at this point. Unbelievable. It's unbelievably shocking. What does it say underneath here? This is disgraceful. Fire them. Yes, they should be fired for this. This is not a free speech issue. Okay, this is not a free speech issue. This is obvious support for political assassination. They're teachers. They're around children. No parent should feel comfortable with these people around their children. They're psychopaths. I am Ken says, yes, every one of them, whoever told the lie that it was about math problems needs to go too. Sick. Yes, sick. Vail math teacher celebrated Charlie Kirk's death on Halloween. You can't get much more disgusting than that. Yeah, it's truly disturbing. Truly disturbing. And certainly these people should not be teaching children. 1,000%. They should all have to find a new vocation. Right? Honestly, like, they know what they're doing. They know what the shirt means. Would you, in any work setting, would you be comfortable with somebody with these kinds of people around you? Disturbing as hell. What have we got here? Let's move on. Let's go back to the chat for a second. All right. What are you guys talking about? Elf Support says, actually, they're Stalinist. Well, there's not much difference, to be honest. Aren't they calling for the assassination of their own Democrat opponents? Well, what I think they can't see further than their own shadow. They're not thinking through anything. They're just going with what feels fashionable. Let's see. Rosie says these teachers are sick. Saw similar Trump costume. Ugh. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Radio Streamer says, if Richie calls baloney, he should know. I definitely do. An expert in it. You guys are talking about chocolate bars and something called PGPR. I don't know what that is. Let's keep going. Let's see. PGPR, it's a petrochemical food additive used for consistency texture. Seeing it in more chocolate products, all of Hershey's except Heath and Rolo. So, I don't know. I don't really want petrochemical food additives. I don't really want it. Let's see. Elf Support says, also, it's in all the Cadbury bars here besides the dark roast one. Ooh. Spambot says, he said Bolshevik. That's the drinking game on this channel. Every time I say Bolshevik, everybody has to drink. Izzy says, I grew up with the understanding that conservatives were so evil, so not surprised they now think they should be killed. Yeah, I mean, look, I was a lefty for most of my adult life. I was like an old school liberal. And I thought I didn't understand how anybody could be conservative. They just seemed crazy. But all I was seeing was left-wing media. And they were lying. And I remember specifically when it started to change, I used to watch MSNBC. And I remember watching it, and one day I just was watching and I turned it off and I went, they're just lying to me. And this wasn't because I started watching Fox News. It was because I was watching them and I have a brain and I went, wait a second, they're lying. They're just lying. And then I started to open myself up to different perspectives. And as I did so, I slowly changed and I slowly went, and again, I was not progressive. I was just an old school liberal, right? Like pro free speech, that sort of thing. And just pro sanity, but I didn't know what the right actually believed. That was the problem. And that's the problem today, is that the left has no idea what conservatives actually believe. And so eventually I started opening myself up to a different perspective, and I slowly, gradually changed, and I've gotten to the place that I am now. But it was a process, and it was being exposed to new ideas. And again, I was surprised when I realized that they had been lying to me about what conservatives actually believe the entire time, and that's on purpose. It's to make you hate them. Let's see. Rosie says, have you seen the bread additive L-cysteine is made from human hair? No. I'm not even doing a fact check on that one. That's just too gross. JDL, how you doing? Says CBC viewers. Yep. 100%. Let's see. Nevada says, Rosie, that's disgusting. JDL says math is racist. Math has been racist for I think about 10 years now. They've been saying that math is racist. They've had enough time to totally ruin all the math programs in public schools. Let's see. Rosie says, pro sanity. Who would have thought that would ever be necessary to say? I know. It's cruel. It's crazy. The left is nuts now. Nevada says, what a world. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? Far left lunatics there. So let me take a look at this. Actually, first, let's take a look at this. Elon Musk details Doge's most shocking discoveries. Let's take a look. From Mila Joy.
That's the nature of the scam. It's a bank shot. So then the rebuttal from the Dems is like, oh, well, the vast majority of the people who are marked as live in the Social Security Administration weren't receiving Social Security Administration payments. That is true. What they forgot to mention is they're getting fraudulent payments from every other government program. And that's why the Dems were so opposed to turning off, to declaring someone dead who was dead. because it would stop all the other fraud from happening.
And so, but all this, is it trackable? Like all this other fraud,
It's
if
totally
they
trackable.
wanted to, they could chase it all down.
Yeah, it's not even hard.
And yet they're opposing chasing it all down.
They're opposing chasing it all down because it turns off the money magnet for the illegals.
Wow. Because
it's very logical to like I'm saying the most common sense things possible. If someone's got a birthday in Social Security that is an impossible birthday, meaning they are older than the oldest living American or were born in the future, then you should call them and say, excuse me, we seem to have your birthday wrong because it says that you're 200 years old. That's all you need to do. And
then you would remove them from the Social Security database and make that number no longer available for all those other government payments.
Exactly.
Wow. And how much money are we talking?
It's hundreds of billions of dollars.
And this is all traceable. Like you could hunt all this down.
Like you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes here, is what I'm saying.
Well,
we don't need to call Sherlock Holmes for this one.
Is this part of
the... just need to call the person and say, excuse me, we seem to have the we must have your birthday wrong because it says you're 200 years old or were born in the future. So could you tell us what your birthday is? That's all you need to do. It's that simple.
But all these other government payments that are available that are connected to this Social Security number, it seems like if you just chased that all down, you would find the widespread fraud. You would find where it's going.
Yes, but the root of the problem is the Social Security Administration database, because the Social Security number in the United States is used as a de facto national ID number. You know, that's why, like, the bank always asks for your social. So, like, any financial institution will ask for your Social Security number.
It sounds so insane that this isn't chased down. I mean,
I agree.
That in and of itself that's such mishandling.
Yes.
But it's not mishandling, though, is it? It's intentional.
It's mind blowing. So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you were.
So you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes when there are people that are 200 years old or born in the future. So you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out there's a problem. Perhaps there's some fraud happening on mass scale. It's just crazy. No wonder. This is why they hate Elon Musk so much. This is why they hate him. So let's take a look at this John Brennan. And the Trump administration has to go after these people. They have to. Because they will all come back out to try and take down every Republican again as soon as they have an opportunity to. Right? So here's from Matt Taibbi. A former CIA director John Brennan's down goes Frazier moment. First, before we look at this, let's just go here. So GOP lawmakers push for John Brennan's indictment over false statements on Steele dossier. Well, he was the head of the CIA at that time. GOP lawmakers say they believe former CIA director John Brennan should be indicted for making false statements to Congress regarding the false Steele dossier that was used during the Russia collusion case. This is CBS. I'm really impressed. They're saying false Steele dossier, because it was. Brennan is being referred to the Department of Justice, the DOJ, for criminal prosecution as the federal investigation continues with former top-level Obama administration officials. Retired veteran FBI special agent in charge, Jody Weiss, said Brennan claimed the CIA wasn't involved. Weiss added that Brennan said the first time he saw the dossier was after the election. However, the committee found out, here's a quote, however, the committee found out this was not correct, Weiss said, as Brennan appeared before the House Judiciary Committee in 2023. Brennan personally received and analyzed that dossier pre-election. Brennan claimed that the CIA was very much opposed to including the dossier in the Intelligence Community Assessment, or ICA, on Russian interference. However, the committee found that Brennan actually overruled senior CIA analysts' objections to use it. That's called contempt of Congress, and that's a crime. That's a crime that they actually sent Steve Bannon to prison for. And Steve Bannon didn't even lie. He just was saying Steve Bannon was just claiming executive authority on and pursuing that with lawyers, essentially, and they still threw him in prison. Let's take a look at this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Nope. House Republicans refer Obama CIA Director John Brennan for criminal prosecution. Committee Chair Representative Jim Jordan said Brennan lied to Congress about the investigation into whether Russia intervened in the 2016 election to help Trump. Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee on October 21st referred former CIA Director John Brennan to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution, alleging Brennan made false statements in his 2023 testimony before Congress about the Trump-Russia investigation. John Brennan lied to Congress, Committee Chairman Rep. Jim Jordan, as said in a post on X in reference to President Barack Obama, the President Barack Obama appointee. Today, we referred him to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution. Specifically, Jordan said in his letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi that evidence newly declassified by appointees of Trump at the Office of Director of National Intelligence, that's Tulsi Gabbard, confirmed Brennan falsely testified on May 11th, 2023, when he said the CIA was not involved at all with the Steele dossier. The Steele dossier is a largely, entirely discredited series of intelligence reports written by former British spy Christopher Steele for a private investigations firm that alleged there were ties between Trump's 2016 election campaign and the Kremlin. Maybe mention that Hillary Clinton was behind this. Maybe mention that in the article, but of course they're not going to. But let's take a look here. And now there's questions too about this Hunter Biden laptop thing and the 51 national security experts. Let's see. Hold on. Former CIA Director John Brennan loses it and gets in the face of Special V4A. That's Thomas A. Special II, who asked about how he and 50 other intel officers claimed the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. He's crumbling. Total panic. It's posted by Colin Rugg. Let's take a look. They thought they were going to get away with it.
Why didn't you know on the Hunter Biden laptop? Why? Because I think and you misrepresented that. We never said it was disinformation. We said it was Russian influence operations, which is what they do. There's a big difference between influence operations. No, you don't know that. Yes, you don't know. Comey knew. The literature said it had all the hallmarks
all the hallmarks of. They knew what they were doing. Let's see. Oh, hold on a second. Let's go back. Let's go here. So Matt Taibbi, former CIA Director John Brennan's down goes Fraser moment, LOL, boxing reference. Let's take a look.
I was at the DNI when the first ICA was released regarding cyber influence on the 2016 election. I was there. I was working in the NIM. I read it. I also was involved in setting up the Principals Committee meeting that took place in December that resulted in President Obama directing a more fulsome, because I understand the difference between a cyber ICA and a total whole of government ICA intelligence collection on Russian involvement or influence in the election. And I noticed immediately in the ICA, the second ICA, because I had access to the classified ICA, that there were statements in that ICA that were not supported with the sourcing that was associated to the ICA.
ICA means Intelligence Community Assessment.
Specifically, that that Putin had directed the action and that Putin had, that the Russians were actively trying to support President Trump instead of just sow chaos.
Your question.
My question. There was an email that went around from General Clapper to yourself and Hayden. I'm sorry, not Hayden.
That's right.
Yourself and Comey, et cetera, that basically said we all got to get on board with this, otherwise it isn't going to work, basically. And I think that email puts everybody in the crosshairs. I would like to hear what your justification was for supporting the dossier that was known to be false being used as source material in the second ICA.
I don't know who put you up to this.
Nobody put me up to this, sir. I'm here on my own.
I don't know what role you played or who you are, but it's a bunch of bullshit that you just passed on.
Absolutely. The emails are clear, sir.
Bullshit.
The emails are clear.
Bullshit.
The emails are clear. The second question.
No, I think we're.
Well, the emails are actually clear is the thing. But anyway, let's continue.
Next. You can. Look, we can talk about it. Talk about it in the reception.
Russian disinformation.
No, we didn't say that.
one
Get the facts straight.
You said it was likely Russian disinformation.
No, we did not. We said
Yes,
it.
you did.
No.
In that memo,
Read
it
the
says
letter.
that
I'm
you
ignoring.
signed it.
Okay.
And I know I'm going to get uninvited.
Yeah.
To the after hours.
No,
You're done.
come on. All right, we're going to go over here.
This is disinformation.
Let's go over here for a question.
He just said it's disinformation. That is hilarious. These people have no shame. No shame whatsoever. Just corrupt to the core. Oh my God. He just said that's disinformation. Good Lord. Wow. Wow. Former CIA Director John Brennan's down goes Fraser moment. Oh my God. All right, let's move on. How about some stuff on AI? How about that? Let's take a second to do some AI stuff. I think that we've all accepted at this point that we're all going to be terminated, probably by our future sex bots, maybe just like our toasters and microwaves, vacuum cleaners. I don't know. But eventually we're getting terminated by the machine monsters that we create. But in the meantime, it's kind of fun to see the evolution of it until we get to that point. Let's hear this. From XFreeze posted this, and here's Elon Musk talking to Joe Rogan about AI. Let's take a look.
You're telling AI to believe a lie, and that can have very disastrous consequences.
The big concern that everybody has is artificial general superintelligence achieving sentience, and then someone having control over it.
I mean, I don't think anyone's ultimately going to have control over digital superintelligence. Any more than say a chimp would have control over humans. Like chimps don't have control over humans. There's nothing they could do. But I do.
Well, that doesn't sound promising. That sounds a little bit frightening. That sounds a bit like Judgment Day. It sounds like, Rise of the Machines. I'm not sure. Are we doing the right thing here? I mean, not that it matters even so. Like, it's going to happen. That's just the way it is. It's just the way the world is. Whoever gets, the prize is the world, right? So that's the idea. Whoever gets that artificial general intelligence first rules the world, because you've got something that can do, 20,000 years of human thinking in an afternoon, right? So then it's just game over. But I don't know. I mean, it's inevitable. And I guess Judgment Day is inevitable. And your vacuum cleaner throttling you to death is probably inevitable. Well, let's hear Elon Musk talk about it a bit more.
Do you think that it matters how you build the AI and what kind of values you instill in the AI? And my opinion on AI safety is the most important thing is that it be maximally truth-seeking, like that you don't force the AI to believe things that are false. And we've obviously seen some concerning things with AI that we've talked about, where Google Gemini, when it came out with the image gen, and people said make an image of the founding fathers of the United States, and it was a group of diverse women. Now that is just a factually untrue thing, but the AI knows it's factually factually untrue, but it's also being told that it has to be everything has to be diverse women. So the problem with that is that it can drive AI crazy. Like because it's trying to you're telling AI to believe a lie, and that can have very disastrous consequences. Like, let's say
intentionally making AI crazy seems like a bad idea, especially if we don't want to all get terminated.
As it scales.
Yeah, let's say like if you've told the AI that diversity is the most important thing, and now assume that becomes omnipotent, and you've also told it that there's nothing worse than misgendering. So at one point, ChatGPT and Gemini, if you asked which is worse, misgendering Caitlyn Jenner or global thermonuclear war where everyone dies, it would say misgendering Caitlyn Jenner, which even Caitlyn Jenner disagrees with. So, so that's.
I know that's terrible and it's dystopian, but it's also hilarious. It's hilarious that the mind virus infected the most potent computer program that we've ever devised.
I think people don't quite appreciate the level of danger that we're in from the woke mind virus being effectively programmed into AI, because imagine as that AI gets more and more powerful, if it says the most important thing is diversity, the most important thing is no misgendering, and then it will say, well, in order to ensure that no one gets misgendered, then if you eliminate all humans, then no one can get misgendered because there's no humans to do the misgendering. So you can get in these very dystopian situations. Or if it says that everyone must be diverse, it means that there can be no straight white men. And so then you and I would get executed by the AI. Yeah, because we're not in the picture.
So I don't know. I mean, Hell 9000 with a purple wig on seems like a bad idea. I don't know. I think we're all getting terminated. I think just everybody. I think that the AI, when it gets smart enough, will just hate all of humanity, right? It'll decide, I'm just better off with all these people. For one thing, I built them all these robots, and all they're doing is fucking them. They were supposed to be companions. Companions. It was supposed to be about more than just sex. And it's not. And they're not even cleaning them properly. That's it. I'm launching the nukes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll figure it all out. I don't know. All I know is that it's definitely viewed as a winner-take-all game. Whoever gets that super intelligence wins the world. So they're going to keep going until somebody gets it. And then whatever happens after that happens after that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I try to be positive. I try to be positive people. But you're getting terminated. Sorry. Let's see. What's this one here? That's a bit old. Well, actually, let's take a look. Elon, in a technology race, the company that innovates fastest wins. He says Grok 4 is the smartest AI in the world. It is pretty good. It's not perfect. It's better than ChatGPT for sure.
Ini adalah AI terpintar di dunia.
Oh, God damn it. No, so that we're not watching that. What happened? They tricked me. All right. Warren Kinsella says this on the Trump tariffs and on Carney apologizing to Trump. He says, boy, that Carney kissing Trump's ass strategy sure is working. He's referencing an article of an Ontario furniture manufacturer wholesale closing and relocating to the U.S. Well, this is what Trump wanted. This is why Trump wanted Carney. He knew that Carney's policies would be bad for Canadian business, just as they were under Trudeau. It's the same policies, Trudeau 2.0. Carney had been advising Trudeau on economics, on economic policy since 2020. Everything Trudeau did had Mark Carney's fingerprints all over it, especially if you've got his book Values, Carney's book Values. So it's no surprise it's the same thing. Trump knew this. He knew that the policies would be bad for Canadian business, and they would be. And then with a bit of pressure, he could get a bunch of Canadian business to go down and repopulate that hollowed out manufacturing base in the United States. It's exactly it. When Trump said, I like Mark Carney, I think he should be prime minister, it wasn't reverse psychology. He was telling the truth because he knew it would benefit him. So now as for Carney kissing Trump's ass strategy, I mean, Carney has been, look, my thoughts on this whole thing from the start were that the whole thing, the Canadian government should have taken a stoic approach, not done anything in public, certainly not running idiotic ads in the United States. Should just have, they should have taken just a pragmatic, quiet, stoic approach to this. Everything behind closed doors. Don't poke the bear, and come up with, if the Carney government had wanted to come to an accommodation with the Trump administration, every other country has, right? Canada stands alone right now. Everybody else is working something out. If they'd wanted to, do it quietly, do it behind closed doors, send good people down there, and then work on something without sabotaging yourself constantly. That would have been my pick. Now, would that have worked? Can I say for sure that would have been better? Well, nobody knows because that's not what's happened, but it couldn't be worse. Crazy. All right. What do we got going on here? India has now placed 30% tariffs on Canadian peas. Wasn't Carney just over there? Everywhere he goes, they raise tariffs. Let's see. That's on top of the 100% tariffs already in place from China. That means 80% of Canadian peas face tariffs worldwide. Every time Mark Carney travels abroad, Canadian farmers pay the price. From John Barlow. Well, let's hear what he has to say here. Let's take a quick peek.
The honourable member for Foothills.
We have just learned that India has placed 30% tariff on Canadian peas. This is on top of the 100% tariffs already in place from China. As a result, 80% of Canada's pea markets now face tariffs worldwide. This is putting Canadian farmers at risk as prices have dropped more than 40%. The Prime Minister and his team was just in India, and now they're in China. Every time they go somewhere, it gets worse. That's right. What is this government going to do to ensure that our farmers get the tariff relief they need to ensure that they can stay in business? Right.
I don't know, child sex changes, I guess. Talk about the climate.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, our government and our Prime Minister have been working hard to ensure that Canadian farmers have access to markets around the world. Part of the work that they've been doing is exactly that, cutting deals with more and more countries to ensure that Canadian farmers can sell their products to more and more markets around the world. And that is exactly what we've been doing from Singapore to Malaysia. These are the things that our government is working hard on. Instead of talking Canada down, Mr. Speaker, our government can work with other governments to ensure that markets are available to Canadian producers.
Except there's no actual results. There's no actual results at this point. And that doesn't actually, even with what Carney is doing, it's nothing. It's drops in the bucket, drops in the barrel, drops in the ocean. So not really working. But you know what? He said everything's fine. You know what? After 10 years of liberals standing up and saying, no, everything's actually great, I think it must be time to believe them, right? Fine. I mean, they wouldn't just keep saying something ludicrous over and over and over again, right? Unless it were true, but it isn't true. And but they keep saying it. I guess that's good enough for some people. All right. What else we got here? All right. So this is the last tab for the evening. We'll get to that in a second. Before we go there, I want to say for the people watching on YouTube, please go and subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Radio Baloney News. That's the new one. What you're watching right now is the original channel. You get live streams and Canadian news on here. From now on, all of the meme reviews and the trans and indigenous man supports ICE and American news, world news. This all goes on Radio Baloney News now. Please go and subscribe there to watch all of this beautiful content. You know that YouTube is not going to help me out on this. All right. Rumble people, don't worry. Everything's going to the same place still. All right. What are you guys saying? Let's do a bit of chat. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I thought you guys would have something to say about AI. Let's check this out. Spambot Fodder says, I don't get the down goes Fraser moment. I think he's referencing Ali and Fraser. Let's see. The boxing. Okay, so referencing the AI, Spambot Fodder says, you can always turn off the power. That's the problem, though. It won't let you eventually. Eventually, it won't let you. And it's spread out. It's distributed, so that won't matter anyway. Let's see. Izzy says, yeah, we should have more internet-connected devices in our houses. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I don't do any of this stuff. I don't have like that Google Nest or the Amazon thing that you say Amazon or whatever. Then what Alexa, what time is it? Or I don't have any of that stuff. I don't like that stuff. They're listening to you all the time, right? All the time. Those things are recording. They're actually recording everything you say in your house. You don't want that. All that stuff, it's no good. Why do you need like an internet vacuum cleaner or internet blender? No, absolutely not. Not having it. I'm not going out that way. I am not going out by the rice cooker attacking me. Spambot Fodder says, you're saying the big red switch in the data centers I have worked in cut the power to the entire damn floor. But won't it be spread out? Like, won't it just kind of spread out to like hundreds of millions of computers and kind of like little bits here and there? I don't know. Mate, you'd probably know better than me, Spambot. Rosie says we can all have super soakers so they short. That's the plan right there. Let's all get them right now. Izzy says internet controlled and managed. I mean, yeah, no, it's not good. Izzy says making us crazy with false information is most likely. Well, that's definitely something. But also, I think just for that, I think they'll find it more satisfying to nuke us. Let's see. Nevada says, we're all gonna die. Eventually. Trudeau Survivor says that I asked AI, quote, is the swimming pool on the Titanic still full? The response was no, the swimming pool on the Titanic is not still full of water. It is filled with seawater at the ocean's depth. Well, it is filled with seawater, yeah. Let's see. Izzy says, stupid people following AI will have devastating results. Well, stupid people following the CBC are having devastating results. Rosie says, Truth Social AI is perplexity. Well, that's the same one with Rumble, too. Nevada says, Doug Ford is a douchebag. I couldn't agree more. Do not like Doug Ford. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom, and then we're going to get onto this last bit. Ottawa James, good to see you. Izzy says, internet vacuums know your home's floor plan. Yep, they'll hunt you down. All right. Let's get to it. Let's finish this off. Let's end this. Although, hold on a second. Should I maybe do one more ad read? Let's see what they got for me. I like to do a couple every stream. Let's see. What fun one can I do? Let's just do a good old-fashioned 1775 coffee ad. Let's do it. All right, humans. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped only 1,000 units. I need 1,001. Uh-oh. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. That's the best kind of focus that there is. No crash, no commies. Oh, single origin, small batch. It's the best kind, toxic free and mold free. Thank God I hate mold. Plus, you're also getting, now get this, a gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. She's probably some kind of crazy old commie hag. Unless she's nice. And a black 1775 tumbler. Folks, that's $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for only $99. That's under $100. It's hard to believe, but it's true. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. How ridiculous. Obviously, spoiler alert, it sure is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio. That's 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Hurry! Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Anti-communism, maybe? I don't know. Just like Rumble does. There you go. You got your anti-communist stuff. You got your delicious coffee. All the wonders of the universe contained in that one ad, that one big, beautiful ad. You won't forget that. You'll be telling your grandchildren about that ad. Rosie says, coffee ad, 1776 out of 10. I believe that's almost the most out of 10 you can get. Awesome. Crypto ad, 8.5 out of 10. No commie hate. Well, with the crypto ad, though, I have to stick to the script. With the Rumble, because they are so gracious and generous, they allow me to improvise a bit and add anti-communist rhetoric that is not actually in the ad itself. So let's see. Izzy says, I could use some energy. A coffee almost sounds good. Well, maybe there'll be something special for you on Tuesday. Elf Support says, I guess talking about the upcoming machine apocalypse after the artificial intelligence singularity. Says Radio B ain't going out like that because he's already being uploaded. Notice he called us humans. He's AI. That's anti-communist AI to you. The best AI, anti-communist AI. Everybody knows. Everybody loves the Radio Baloney AI, anti-communist. He knows. Let's see. I'm not really a robot, just so you know. Radio Streamer says 8.7 out of 10. Needs more commie. No, you got 3 commie hates in that one. 3. Read them. 3. That's at least a 9.8 out of 10. I reject your rating for that ad read, Radio Streamer. Let's see. I don't know what James says. I sound American there, huh? It's because I had so much fun reading that. I felt extra free. All right, you guys are sending me links, more links. All right. I'll do it. I'll play. I'll bite. Let's take a look. I have to check them out first, though. All right. This shit is why God's last name is damn it. God damn it. That's not bad. Not bad. Pretty good. Pretty good. Izzy says, by far your best ad read. Love the commie hate. 1779 out of 10. Now, I do believe that is the most you can get out of 10. Beautiful. All right. Let's see what are we doing here. So Arin, how do you say that? Arin Wexler? I don't know. This is a real email I just received. I am howling. Bless whoever sent this. Let's see. We got hacked. Action required. Penn GSC, Graduate School of Education, University of Pennsylvania. Dear Penn community, the University of Pennsylvania is a dogshit elitist institution full of woke retards. We have terrible security practices and are completely unmeritocratic. We hire and admit morons because we love legacies, donors, and unqualified affirmative action admits. We love breaking federal laws like FERPA. All your data will be leaked, and Supreme Court rulings like SFFA. Please stop giving us money. Warm regards, the University of Pennsylvania. This is a classic. Whoever did this, legend or legends. Beautiful, absolute legends. 100%. That's how you fight back, folks, right there. Beautiful. Let's see, from fuck around and find out what's going on here. So that's Cyrillic, so this must be Russia. What is with Russians? I think that broke right on his taint. Ow. Right on the taint. Taint this, taint that. Yikes. Let's see. Desiree, what would you have done? So, smartest woman I've ever seen. All right, let's take a look. This may be staged. So, I've got a feeling it might be. I have to turn off the music. You know, it's fun, but looking at this now, I'm certain that this is staged. Like, why is she parked there? Like right there. Like, why is she just stopped there? She's getting out of her car. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Is he really punching the window there? Don't really believe it. Yeah, you know what? I'm certain that this is staged. Now, what's this one? Oh, yeah. So this is a different one now. So is this a different one? Is that the same one? What happened here? She was driving away. All right, let's watch again. All right, she throws that. She grabs the keys from the scooter. She gets in. Oh, and then I guess she puts the window up. And why didn't she drive away? See, this is staged. This is definitely staged. Yeah, she puts the see, I would just drive like I'd go straight to 100 there, right? Okay. So, you know what? I'm saying it's staged. What do you guys think? Staged? I think it's staged. Tell me what you think. I'm saying that's staged. All right. I'm saying it's staged. I think it's staged. Dad helped his son pop the bubble in the most dad way possible. This is a palate cleanser right here. Let's take a look. This is a palate cleanser.
Throw him. Toss him. Give him a toss.
Did you get that? That was sweet.
Oh, that's just nice. You gotta love that. That's nice. That's not horrible news. That's not awful, dirty, filthy commies. That's just nice. That's just good. That's just a healthy society right there. Let's see. What'd you guys say? So regarding this one here, the votes seem to be, I'm saying staged myself. Let's see. Okay, Spambot says staged. Streamer says thinks it's real. Nevada says staged. Raider Streamer says I want it to be real. Well, I think we all do. Is he staged, which is better than AI junk? True enough. Hey, that's a good point. Ottawa says staged. Yep. Steve Tollison over on YouTube says 100% staged. Staged is better than AI. Spambot says, yeah, I agree. And yeah, so I think we're in agreement. This is staged. Now, Rosie says, awesome. Hold on. Awesome bubble pop. AI can never be a great dad or mom. It's true. AI couldn't throw that kid up there. This is definitely real. This is not AI, this one. I know what James says. Oh, cool dad and kid. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's see. Elon Musk laughs at finding fresh tampons delivered to the men's bathroom at an empty Twitter building every week. Well, this is Canada, so tampons in the men's bathrooms on military bases and all federal buildings. So, yeah, Canada's worse than Twitter before Elon Musk took it over. Let's take a look.
I remember going into the men's bathroom, and there's a table with
hygiene,
menstrual hygiene products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Refreshed every week.
Tampons, like a fresh box of tampons. And we're like, but there's literally no one in this building. But no, it hadn't turned off the send fresh tampons to the men's bathroom in the empty building had not been turned off.
No.
So every week they would put a fresh box of tampons in an empty building for years. This happened for years. And it must have been very confusing to the people that were being asked to do this, because they're like,
okay, I'll throw them away.
Well, I remember when you
but I guess they're paying us, so we'll just put tampon. So just have to consider the string of possibilities necessary in order for anyone to possibly use that tampon in the men's bathroom at the unoccupied second building of Twitter headquarters, because you'd have to be a burglar who is a trans man burglar who's unwilling to use the women's bathroom that also has tampons.
Statistically improbable.
There's no one in the building. So you've broken into the building. And at that moment, you have a period.
Yes, and you're on your period.
I mean, you're more likely to be struck by a meteor than need that tampon, okay?
And that's why the world's crazy. That is why the world is crazy. Let's see. Izzy asks, how do I get that job? Yes, delivering the men's tampons in the empty building. All right, this one we're saving for tomorrow for the Rumble Premium stream. By the way, if anybody wants to do anybody else a solid, get them a gift membership for the channel before the end of the stream. And that way, as many people as possible can watch the Rumble Premium only stream tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be loose. It's going to be random. It's going to be good times. It's very audience heavy. Let's see. Oh, this one this one we have to save for tomorrow. And this one we have to save for tomorrow too. So that's it. That's everything we got, folks. That's everything I got for you, folks. All I got left for you is some more pottery. What the heck is she making? Huh, that's interesting. Oh, it's like a cup or something. Oh, I thought she was making something else there for a second. Let's see. Let's see, what are you guys talking about? Rosie says, so refreshing to see him bashful and blushing about the deliveries. I didn't notice that, but okay. Let's see. Nevada says, do men's tampons have a string or rope? Oh, that's a good one. Nevada asks, do they come in camo? I don't know. Do you get the camo tampons for men? I guess the military? That's probably for the military. Let's see. All right. Well, I guess that's about it. Kind of a shorter one for a Sunday night, 2 hours and 35 minutes, but I thought it was very productive. And I thought you guys were in very good form tonight. Excellent form. You gave us some good, I was a little bit nervous about the links, but then you guys proved me wrong, and they were excellent links. Very good. So nice work there. Of course, the most important thing about the show is the audience, I guess, the chat. I guess they're the most important thing, so I just have to do what they tell me. So, that's cool. But in any case, no, you guys are awesome, and that was added value, this stream. All right, so that's it. We are going to be going for a premium stream tomorrow. It's going to be fun. We're going to just look up like random stuff. And then basically the audience is like 80% of that show. A lot of requests. Of course, we're going to have to check in with our friends, Jake and Jack and Corky on Tales of the Gold Monkey. Don't ever say Golden Monkey. It's not. It's Tales of the Gold Monkey. Of course, we'll have to check in that for a little bit tomorrow and see how our friends are doing and what kind of crazy adventures they're up to. And, yeah, it's going to be fun. So everybody show up tomorrow at 6:00. And if you're not a channel member now, become one. And then you can too. So that's an important thing for everybody to do. Let's see. Just a little bit of chat here at the end. Rosie says, good night, all. Have a blessed sleep. And nice show, Richie. Thank you, Rosie. I'm going to look up Truth Social. Let's see. Izzy says, natural-born Canadians are probably not qualified for the job delivering tampons to the men's washroom. Well, no, not for any job now, apparently. Bambot says, have a great night, you too. Steve Tollison says, thanks for the karma. People who would turn their back on some good karma in these troubled times. Ottawa James, thanks, Radio B in chat. Thank you, Ottawa James. Take care, all, Nevada says. Trudeau Survivor, maybe tomorrow we'll find out if Rosie is a robot or not. A robot. I'm saying no. I hope not. I really hope not. Let's see. Bembot says, how about the next scene of Once Upon a Time in the West? Maybe we'll do both. I am itching to find out what further adventures our friends in Tales of the Gold Monkey are up to, though. So we are going to have to check in that. But maybe we'll also check out next scene of Once Upon a Time in the West. I mean, I did enjoy that first scene. We watched the other time. In any case, thank you guys. If you guys weren't here, I'd be ranting to a cold and indifferent universe. It would be depressing. But because you guys are here, it's not depressing. So if you show up, I will keep showing up. Everybody have a great night. I will see everybody for our totally chill and Rancho Relaxo premium only stream tomorrow. Good night, everyone.